guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Live, where we talk about the latest movie and TV news, reviews, and all that good stuff. I am your host, Viking, as always, and I'm joined by Krypton Cage, my co-host. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? Just saw a trailer.
Yes. What trailer did you see?
Well, it happens to be one of the, most anticipated trailers for a while. So I just got a chance to see that.
I'm literally confused. Which trailer are you talking about?
Haven't you checked the chat?
No, I've been offline for the last
Oh,
2 hours.
good. Good for you. The No Way Home trailer just leaked.
No way, did it?
Yep.
Was it? Are you able to talk about it?
No, it was a leak and, it's a very bad quality leak, so we don't even have any pictures or anything. But anyway, we have other topics that we can talk about.
Yes, we do. Um, Yeah, see, there's a few movies and well, a few movies to review here today, and some movies you haven't seen, and vice versa. But I suppose we can just get into it. And the first one I got to see one yesterday was a film called Joe Bell, and it stars Mark Wahlberg. Now, Mark Wahlberg gets a lot of shit for being an actor, maybe that isn't that good of an actor, dramatically. But I have to say, this movie right here took me by surprise because Mark Wahlberg gives an astonishing performance, really, really good. And I'll just give you some background information about this movie that's titled Joe Bell. So, Joe Bell tells the intimate and emotional true story of an Oregon father who pays tribute to his gay teenage son, Jaden, embarking on a self reflective walk across America to speak his heart to Heartland citizens about the real and terrifying costs of bullying. So he's basically a redneck, a rough American, old school, and his son is gay. And in school, he gets bullied for being gay, of course. And the film tells an interesting kind of dynamic because it tells what's happening right now, but also flashbacks to when the kid was coming out to his father, when the kid was being bullied in school, how Mark Wahlberg's character reacted to that, how he reacted to him being bullied in school, and then it kind of goes back and forth, kind of through time. And then around halfway through this movie, we get to see something terrible that happened, which I won't give away. But look, this film isn't an upbeat, feel good movie whatsoever. It's very, very heavy. Sometimes it's hard to watch, but I think that Mark Wahlberg, for his performance, to watch it would just be good because he kind of would prove to you that he can nail these kind of performances, even though he does the Transformers or the big action-packed movies, that don't really have much of a plot to it. Here, this movie has a very real plot that I think many people can relate to, especially homosexual people and maybe parents as well who have to deal with their kids being bullied because they're gay. So it's a very heavy film. Now, the director of this, Ronaldo Marcus Green, is doing the Keen Arthur movie that's coming out later this year with Will Smith about Serena Williams and their father, Williams' sister and their father. And this film's got some really interesting cinematic shots. The way it's shot, kind of the cinematography and stuff like that. It's a very low budget movie, and as I said, this father is walking across America and kind of protest the bullying and to raise awareness about bullying and stuff like that. So there's some nice shots that way. But yeah, it is hard to watch at times, and maybe if you've never gone through something like this, if you're a straight person or you've never had to deal with somebody who gay being bullied, then maybe you can't relate to this. But I found it very interesting, very kind of just a very heavy movie. And it's hard to kind of watch at times, especially near the end. But I think Mark Wahlberg gives a great performance. I think the supporting cast is solid enough. But the overall kind of plot and story is generic enough. I've seen stuff like this before, where somebody's dealing with something a terrible issue like this of bullying, but it didn't really bring anything new to it. It was just kind of carried by Mark Wahlberg's performance. It really, really was. So, but I enjoyed watching his performance, and I enjoyed kind of somebody who is straight who hasn't had to deal with these kind of issues, and it's kind of been the bullying. I've had to deal with bullying before, and maybe you have as well. Other people have, but just think it raised awareness about kind of uh, being gay and being bullied about that. So for that, I think it was a good watch.
Cool. All right.
Have you come across this movie in any way?
No, I haven't. I've seen the poster. That's all I know about it, and now I've heard you talk about it. And I've seen the rating and reviews, and they're not great at all. So uh, I don't know why, because it has Mark Wahlberg, and the subject material is pretty good as well. The poster looks interesting. It looks like an awards movie kind of thing, but I don't know what happened there then. Did you
Yeah,
find
well,
anything to that?
yeah, well, like it doesn't do anything groundbreaking in that aspect. You know, we've probably seen movies like this before, but it's not a terrible movie. It has a critic rating of 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a what's that, a rotten score, but the audience score is 78%. So the audiences liked it. They went to go see this movie. Critics didn't. Maybe because it's Mark Wahlberg, I don't know. But the movie wasn't anything bad or anything. It was shot lovely, interesting subject matter, and Mark Wahlberg gave a pretty good performance. So I don't see the hate towards it whatsoever. It's not an Oscar-winning film, but it's also not a terrible film. It's probably above average film. But I think the subject matter is more important than the actual quality of the movie. So it's good that a movie like this brings that type of awareness, I think.
That's cool. It kind of feels interesting to me. So I like these kinds of movies, which I usually don't like the drama genre, but some of the subject matter interests me, so maybe I'll check it out. It sounds interesting to me from what you've said.
Yeah, definitely do. It's only an hour and 34 minutes, so you could breeze through it pretty quickly.
Cool. All right, so what
Yeah.
do we have next?
Next, because I'm hosting today, and it's not as annoying. Oh, Walking Dead, yes,
Yeah.
Walking Dead. So, okay, I want to talk about the episode first, and then I want to go on a bit of a rant about the people who produce The Walking Dead in terms of the company AMC. So, The Walking Dead is returning tonight. It's returning in about 40 minutes officially on AMC. What's happening is they're dropping the episodes a week early if you have the AMC Plus app, kind of like if you had Netflix or HBO Max. And they also have like a TV channel, AMC. And traditionally, it's always aired on Sunday nights on AMC at the same time, and then internationally the next night on the Monday. That's been the way it has gone. But AMC Plus has come into the equation, and over the last couple of seasons, or even last season, they would drop the episode early on the Friday, and then it would officially come out on the Sunday. But this year, they're dropping it a full week early, so there's spoilers online for an entire week. Stuff leaks, of course, and nothing stays safe on the internet. So, but what's happening is tonight, last night, episode 2 dropped on AMC Plus. So there was 2 episodes of The Walking Dead new season. The very last season dropped online on the AMC Plus before the actual first episode dropped officially on the TV channel, where most of the audience watched it. And the international fan base, AMC doesn't exist. Like HBO Max only exists in America. It doesn't exist all around the world. It's the same with AMC Plus. So there's fans out there who've watched The Walking Dead for 10 years, over 10 years, have 2 episodes out already that they hadn't seen. And there's already the trailer for episode 3 out when the first episode hasn't aired yet. Does that sound stupid to you, Casey?
Yes.
Yes. Like imagine, I don't know, like a big show like Game of Thrones, like 2 episodes come out before it comes out where you are, or you see the trailer for episode 3 already, and you're getting ready to watch it on Sunday night. Like, wouldn't that just piss you off as a fan, as a loyal fan to that show?
Yeah, 100%. Like I even don't watch the end promos after the episode even ends because I want to completely be surprised.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go. So that's kind of situation some Walking Dead fans are in right now, and this is the last season. And many fans are concerned by the last episode or the last few episodes, the same thing's going to happen. The ending is going to be spoiled for people. So it's very hard to talk about spoilers online because some fans have seen it a week early. Some fans have seen 2 episodes. Some fans have seen 2 episodes and also seen the trailer for episode three. But also, a lot of fans are still waiting tonight in 40 minutes to sit down and watch the first episode. So that is pretty annoying. But I got to watch the first episode anyway, and it's kind of a two-parter. So episode one and episode two are kind of connected. And yeah, I really like this. They changed the cameras in The Walking Dead over the last. Actually, at the end of last season, they've gone digital, and a lot of the shots are very very beautiful and stuff like that. So the big kind of head on for this season is the dynamic between Maggie and Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen, of course, who were in Batman v Superman together. Because Negan a few episodes ago, spoiler alert, killed Maggie's husband Glenn brutally. That happened in the comics as well. So Negan has redeemed himself while Maggie has gone away. He's saved some of the children. He's in the group now, but still he's not fully accepted because of what he did. Now Maggie's back as well, and she wants him dead. So basically, the Whisper War that happened last year has really hurt the survivors because they're depleted. They don't have enough. They don't have food. Their crops aren't growing. Their homes are destroyed. So they have to kind of find other ways to get food. And the opening sequence for this was pretty badass. They have to go into this military base, and it's full of walkers, and they're looking for food, but there's not enough food there, and they kind of get trapped there. And the walkers, Angela Kang, who came in as showrunner a few seasons ago, has really reinvented the show because she's brought back that horror element to it that was missing seasons ago. The vibes of season one and season two and season three of the walkers being absolute terrifying is brought back because of her, and that's an amazing job. But the opening sequence is like 10 minutes before the opening credits hit, and it's just action packed. They're to have to take down these countless walkers, AK-47s, shooting them down and stuff like that. So, but they have to send all the women in because they have to kind of by rope ease them down. They're the lightest to go in and check what food. But when they go into this camp, this army base, the walkers are asleep on the floor, so they have to be careful. And of course, you can probably guess what happens. They make noise and something happens where the walkers wake up and they have to fight their way out. So that was a cool opening 10 minutes. And then they have kind of a town meeting where they have to come up with a decision because they don't have enough food. They only have a week's supply left. So they want to go into the city. But also there's this group called the Reapers, which Maggie met kind of off screen when she left the show. Her group met this group called the Reapers that wear these masks, terrifying group. And they ran through her camp and took out her people. So they are in this location where there's loads of food. So they have to go into the city, but there's also a big storm that's coming as well. And it's done really, really well because the promos were they have to go underground, kind of under the sewers to get to the city because there's like a really bad storm. And I was thinking, like, come on, if it's only a bit of rain or thunder or lightning, something like they could obviously get through that. But then they show them like in the storm and the rain is so bad. So I think the production team did an awesome job there to show how heavy the rain was. So they have to go underground. But it's an interesting dynamic because Negan, who's just brought along because he knows the city, because he can bring them around and show them where they have to go, he's kind of he's kind of a bit annoyed at the group, and especially Maggie, because this is kind of suicide. They're underground. It's very, very dark. It's not lit whatsoever. And there's obviously going to be walkers there at some stage, but they won't listen to Negan because, he's been a bad guy in the past. And Maggie is kind of thinking with her head instead of her heart or heart instead of her head because she hates Negan. And, she wants Negan dead. And Negan's like, look, this isn't safe. We should go back and wait for the storm to be finished. But they're basically telling Negan to shut up. And of course, walkers come. So the underground sewer scene was terrifying. It was absolutely brilliantly well done. And a massive cliffhanger happens as well that I don't want to spoil, but it's between Negan and Maggie. And if you really, really hate Negan, you're going to hate him even more after this episode. And if you love him, you're going to love him even more. So, yeah. But episode 2 is already out there. So there's already spoilers out there. But episode 1 was a solid start, and episode 2 was kind of the part 2 for it. So, look, it's the last season of The Walking Dead, 24 episodes to go, and I'm excited to have it back, but I'm also sad. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the star of the show. I think without him, the show wouldn't be as interesting. He's just a brilliant actor in anything that he does. To be honest.
Awesome. How
Yeah,
how sad are you about this entire show ending though?
yeah, really sad, and but it's like it's ending, but it's not ending. We're getting a Daryl and Carol
You've been
spin-off,
seeing this for a
and
decade.
yeah, I've watched it every single year. Never missed an episode. Watched it with my brother. But there's a Daryl and Carol spin-off, which is one of the two of the OG characters who've been there since season one. They're getting their own spin-off. It's coming in 2023. We also have Fear the Walking Dead, which is going into its seventh season. I think that's returns in 8 weeks. We've got The Walking Dead World Beyond, which is going into its second season. I think that returns in 6 weeks. Then, of course, if they ever get to film the movies, the Rick Grimes trilogy is supposed to come. There's also some other spin-offs in development: Tales of the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead. Or there's some other show as well where they're going to take like maybe dead characters and give them an episode. There's also rumors that Negan may get a spin-off if he survives the season. I don't know if he would or not, but he could do a prequel. But like, there's so much Walking Dead content coming. The main show, The Walking Dead, is ending, but the Walking Dead universe is not. So, and there's talks of some video
Nice.
games coming as well. So the main show is ending, but the universe is not. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, but it is sad to see the main show end. But 24 episodes, it looks like they're going all out to give us an action-packed season. So that's awesome. And like it's interesting because you're a Game of Thrones fan. You've got what 6, 7 seasons, 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, and now you've been waiting what 4 or 5 years for the new show, the prequels to come,
Yeah.
or the House of Dragon and stuff like that. And like in fairness to AMC, they've always given us content. They've given us seasons upon seasons of Walking Dead content. Never made us wait more than a season break for a new show or for a new season. So I have to say that that's really good towards the fan base, because if The Walking Dead was with HBO or if it was with any other TV company, it might not be still on, and it might have ended years ago on a poor note, or it could have ended after 4 or 5 seasons. So I'm grateful that it's still going, and it's a massive universe with a massive international fan base, especially in Brazil, especially in Japan, in the UK. That's where they're making most of their viewership. But then they go and do stupid things like release 2 episodes without people even seeing the first one, which is a little bit stupid.
Nice. I'm just waiting for Telltale Games to come back so that I can just play the new season of that Walking Dead because I love that game a lot. They have a great story
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a really good Walking Dead game. They've had a few out there in the past. Like they did one like Daryl and Merle, two brothers. That wasn't as good. There was another Walking Dead game that was like the trailers were pretty interesting for it, but it came out and it was pretty underwhelming. So yeah, the best has been the Telltale games, and those were really top notch. They
Yeah,
really really
dude.
were. So if they could translate them into like a proper game where you're the character all the time, then that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely play because I love the
Yeah,
story from the Telltale game. So that's what's keeping me hooked.
Clementine, or
Yeah.
is it Clementine? Yeah, she talks of her maybe getting her own,
Yeah.
the Tales
Movie?
of the Walking Dead, not a movie, but like the Tales of the Walking Dead, where they're telling random character stories.
Right, right, right.
Talks that she could be brought into that. So yeah, I'd love to see that. That
Nice.
would be awesome. I don't know if they do a direct adaptation of the games or if they'd switch it up. But I think that if I'm surprised they didn't maybe try and do a live action version of that a while ago.
Yeah, it was a huge success.
Look at The Last of Us. Like they're doing an adaptation of the games with
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, which would probably be fairly accurate. So, like, if like, no offense to the Clementine Telltale games, but The Last of Us is regarded as the greatest game of all time and is probably more popular,
Yeah.
you know, and that's getting that adaptation. So why not do the same with the Clementine one? Like,
I
do a direct adaptation.
I think a lot of the game projects are just on hold right now because they are just waiting to see how The Last of Us does because I think there are some video games that were great adaptations, but general consensus is that video games suck, right? Most people think that video game movies suck. So there still hasn't been a movie that completely changes that narrative. So a lot of people I think are waiting for The Last of Us, and that seems like a very promising and big project that's going for them. So Uncharted could have been one of those and still could be, but it seems like they are deviating a lot from the game. So a lot of fans are unhappy about that. But The Last of Us, I think, is one that, that feels like everyone's waiting for that to be successful so that every other game can be, pitched to the studios.
Yeah, it'll probably open the door definitely. So
Yeah.
yeah, so looking forward to it. Yeah, next week we'll review episode 2 for The Walking Dead. Personally, I'm not reviewing the episodes until they air officially, um, because I don't think it's fair, talk spoilers and stuff like that until because there's people out there who don't have AMC Plus or don't live in the US, so they have to wait for the traditional time slot, and that's what I'm going to do as well. Wait to talk about it when it drops at that time because it's only fair to the fans. So yeah,
Cool.
that was our review for The Walking Dead, season 11, episode 1. So now on to Superman and Lois, the finale. Superman and Lois um, has had 15 episodes. It has ended for season 1. And you know what, KC? It was an amazing season. I wouldn't say one episode was filler. At best, maybe an episode was 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. All of the episodes for me, most of them were 8, 9, 10. Absolutely brilliant. And Superman and Lois has ended, and I'm looking forward to season 2 already. They're going to start production next month in September. I don't know when it will come back, but Tyler Hoechlin has proved to me that he is a very, very good Superman with the right material. On the CW with Supergirl or the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the material just was not good enough for him whatsoever. Here, he has got that material. He's got the budget. He's got the characters around him to really showcase how great he is. But the last couple of episodes, Morgan Edge, Tal Rho, his big master plan is to recreate Krypton on Earth, very much like General Zod in Man of Steel, that kind of similar kind of plot. So, episode 14 is titled the Eradicator. Now, the Eradicator is this device that's able to put Kryptonian consciousness into people. Now, his plan was to put them into the people of Smallville because ex-Kryptonite is in Smallville, and I don't know really what way it's done, but the people of Smallville are easier to manipulate with the Kryptonian consciousness because I don't know if they're exposed to it chemically or whatever like that because they live in Smallville because that's where Clark landed. But that was his plan. Now, episode 14, there was a massive kind of city fight that was very similar to Batman v Superman. The opening sequence for Bruce Wayne is going through the car. He's on the phone to Jack, who's in he's in Wayne Tower. We get something similar like that in this episode, a very similar shot where there's a guy on the phone and Superman and Tal Rho are fighting and they smash into a building. Very similar shots like that. But yeah, so it was a massive sequence, where you got Steel, John Henry Irons, and Superman have to work together to take on Morgan Edge. You've got, Morgan Edge is kind of his sidekick there as well, a kind of a female Kryptonian. He has some Kryptonian consciousness into random people, and Superman and John Henry Irons have to work together. But it was setting it up to be what happened on John Henry Irons' Earth, because on John Henry Irons' Earth, Superman went evil, of course, and the world was destroyed. And on that world, his wife was Lois Lane. And evil Superman, killed his wife, Lois Lane. That's why he came to this Earth to take on this Earth Superman in case he went bad. And, we went through that episodes ago, but then, he realized that the Superman of this Earth is good. So he teams up with him. They work together. But we get a very similar shot because episodes ago on the bad Superman Earth, he kills Lois Lane. She's reporting. He comes up behind her and he X-ray beams her to death, which was pretty brutal. On this Earth, it's a little bit different. It's the female Kryptonian that works with Morgan Edge. She is about to do it to Lois Lane, but then John Henry Irons, his kind of complete arc comes into play, and he's able to save his wife from not from his Earth, but Lois Lane was his wife. He's able to save her. So full circle there. He gets to save her. That's awesome. And John Henry Irons and Superman work together. They take down Morgan Edge, and he seems to be gone. But by the end of the episode, Morgan Edge takes Superman's son, Jordan, as hostage. And Jordan has his father's powers very similar to him. Not fully equipped yet. He can't really fly, but he has kind of the X-ray beam. He's powerful and stuff like that. He's still kind of understanding his powers. And we're kind of left in a cliffhanger why Morgan Edge took Superman's son. And at the end of the episode, kind of Elizabeth Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane, and Tyler Hoechlin, who plays Superman, they have a very emotional scene together where, they're crying because he can't find his son because Morgan Edge took him and they're afraid that he's going to kill him. So episode 14 was a really good setup for the finale. It felt like a part one, of part two. But I really liked the action sequence within the city. I thought it was good. The visual effects and stuff like that have not always been like stunning for this series, but of course maybe a budget thing. Of course, it's on the CW a TV channel or the CW app, so it's not always going to be like cinematic. But I think they try at times. A lot of the shots are similar to movies, and they try and give us the best atmosphere that they possibly can. And Morgan Edge's plan is to put Kryptonian consciousness into all of the people on Earth and recreate a new Krypton. And as the Eradicator, he uses the Eradicator, which is the device that's put Kryptonian consciousness into people, and he absorbed it. And he went to the sun as well and used the energy of the sun. So he's become this even more powerful Kryptonian. And instead of the device putting the Kryptonian consciousness into people, he now can do it himself because he absorbed it. We go into the season finale, and the reason that Morgan Edge took Jordan Kent, I should say, Superman's son, who has Superman's powers, was to put his father, Zeta, his consciousness into Jordan. So that was a pretty interesting dynamic. I thought maybe he would bring back General Zod that way. But Superman has to find his son. He can't find him, but eventually does find him. But while Superman is preoccupied kind of trying to get his son back together, bring his son back because, Kryptonian consciousness is in his son's head, he is distracted there, and John Henry Irons has to come up with a plan to take on Morgan Edge by himself. And Casey, are you familiar with Steel as a character, the hammer that he has?
Nope.
Okay, so John Henry Irons, kind of his trademark weapon is a hammer, and it's a big, massive steel hammer, and he's able to take down Superman with it and Kryptonians. That's kind of his basic weapon. It's a pretty cool one. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, he has to kind of look after Morgan Edge, and Morgan Edge, is very much a presence in Smallville because the military is still in Smallville, and people in Smallville are kind of a little bit annoyed because they think that Superman has just beaten Morgan Edge in Metropolis. He defeated him. Why is the military still in our town? And the reason being is because the military, they can't find Morgan Edge. They don't know where he is. So the people of Smallville are pretty upset at this. And Morgan Edge shows up and he uses some of the military soldiers. He puts some Kryptonian consciousness into them. And then they go to Metropolis to take down kind of Metropolis. And that's where John Henry Irons is kind of preoccupied there. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting dynamic, two kind of storylines going on together, and then Superman is able to bring back Jordan, and then Lois Lane uses the device that Morgan Edge used on Clark a few episodes to go into his memories. And so what Lois Lane is trying to do is she's trying to go into his son's memories, go into Jordan's head, but in his head, of course, is Zeta, Tal-Rho, Morgan Edge's father, or Kryptonian consciousness. So she has to kind of go into his mind and bring back her son, which she eventually does. It was tough, but she eventually is the only one that's able to do it. She did it a few episodes for Superman, for Clark, when he was kind of overtaken by Morgan Edge as well. So that was a pretty cool storyline that was going on. But yeah, the end fight between Superman, Morgan Edge, and Steel was pretty awesome. It was really cool. And there's some really cool shots in this episode as well. I don't know if you've seen, I put up a post on Twitter. Really cool cinematography, awesome stuff. So yeah, Superman and Lois has been just an awesome season. And like when the big climax fight happened, there was 15 minutes still left in the episode. And I was like, where are they going here? Because they fought Morgan Edge, spoilers, like they're able to defeat him. And I was wondering, where does it go next? And there's a really powerful line because Morgan Edge isn't really that bad. He just wanted to recreate Krypton onto Earth because his father kind of mentally abused him and physically abused him and drilled it into him. That's what you have to do. You have to bring back Krypton. That's your job. You have to do this here on Earth. And Morgan Edge, as in flashbacks, we got to see him try and come up with different ways. Maybe he thought he could change Clark. They could work together, maybe in a good way. But he was beat. It was beat into him mentally and physically that he has to be the one that brings back Krypton, and the only way to do it is by killing all the people on Earth. And he goes to Superman. He says, all I wanted was a brother. All I wanted was a family. And Superman's like, you had me. I was here. You had me. That was a pretty awesome piece of dialogue right there. Morgan Edge realizes that, yeah, maybe I didn't need to be bad, you know. So that was awesome, man. I really enjoyed it. I got to see Morgan Edge, kind of his, because he is the Eradicator. He has this powerful Kryptonian consciousness, this power absorbed from the device, from the sun, but Steel is able to knock it out of him with the hammer. So that was an awesome sequence. We have 15 minutes left, and John Henry Irons is a character who, of course, his wife on the other Earth was Lois Lane, and he goes to Lois and says, "Look, I would love to stay around, but I just can't. Every time I look at you, I see my wife." And Lois Lane understands this, and Clark understands this. And, John Henry Irons is about to leave, and then this kind of spaceship comes into the atmosphere and lands in the Kent farm, and everyone's like, "Who is this?" And out steps John Henry Irons' daughter from the Earth that he came from. And he thought that she was dead because he left her. The only way that to save their Earth was to go into this Earth and stop Superman. He thought he could change things. But she comes to this Earth, I don't know how. I don't know if her Earth was destroyed or not, but she steps out of the spaceship and she looks at Lois Lane and she's like, Mom, which is interesting because it's not really her mom. It just looks like her mom. But on this Earth, Lois Lane did lose a child at the start of her birth, a girl. So, that's been a tough situation episodes ago for Lois Lane, dealing with that kind of trauma again, knowing that she had a daughter on other Earth, but on this Earth she lost her daughter. So it ended on a massive cliffhanger like that, and it was awesome, Casey. It's a pretty good season of Superman. Lois, you should definitely check it out, and the performances are brilliant. The cinematography was really good as well. Of course, the visual effects could always be better. Tyler Hoechlin's suit, the S could be bigger, it could be a little bit brighter at times, but I really enjoyed it. And Tyler Hoechlin proved a lot of people wrong, and he's probably up there. Henry Cavill is my favorite, but Tyler Hoechlin is probably up there now at this stage because Henry hasn't played the character in a while.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that he is cameoing in the future movies that's coming up.
Yeah, and like even though it was a season finale, it set up a lot of things. Like General Lane, Lois Lane's father, he stepped down from the military. So, I'm interested to see if he'll appear in season 2. What's going to happen with John Henry Irons and his daughter, and then Lois Lane, that dynamic. Morgan Edge isn't dead yet. So, what are they going to do with him? Will he come back in season 2? Will he become like a Joker type character to Batman? He visits him in Arkham Asylum, he visits him in the cell, they talk, he helps him through things. That could be an interesting dynamic, but who's going to be the big villain for season 2? And in episode 14, Central City was dropped, and there's a love interest for the character of Jonathan, who this girl says her father, they moved from Central City, her father went to prison. So hopefully it's not a CW Flash villain. Hopefully they don't tie them together too much. But I think there's talks of another Crisis in Infinite Earths happening, and I
I'm
wouldn't be
pretty sure.
surprised if their most
Yeah,
popular, yeah, their most popular show right now is Superman and
yeah.
Lois. So to get viewership for the Flash and for Batwoman, they could end up having Tyler Hoechlin appear. I just hope it's not canon to the Superman and Lois show. So he can go over there and do what he wants, but just keep this as its own confined thing. But like John as a Diggle
Yeah, he appeared.
on Arrow, is that the character? Yeah, he appeared a few episodes ago and he did practically nothing. He could have not appeared. I don't really know why he did. Um, but yeah, so I hope, man. I even think I seen some of the producers, I think, talking about a Flash and Superman crossover episode, and I was like, no, man, please don't do this. Just don't do this. Because this feels like its own story, and it feels like we're on a journey with these characters. And the character development was amazing because in episode 1 or 2, Jordan is like this teenager who's depressed, going through anxiety and stuff like that. And his full arc is brilliant, where he has Superman powers and he's able to help his family. And you have John Henry Irons. He came to this earth with the motivation to kill Superman because Superman killed his wife, but then he realized that the Superman of this earth is kind and he's kind of his, Lois Lane is his anchor, very much like John Henry Irons' anchor was Lois Lane on his earth. So I've been impressed. Morgan Edge was a great villain. Really, really good villain. I really like his origin story as well. We got to see that over time. Yeah, so Superman Lois, 15 episodes, pretty solid stuff. Hopefully it stays to 15 episodes and the budget stays the same for season two.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
what's next?
Did you see the new Jason Momoa movie, Sweeker?
No, I haven't got the chance to see it. I was watching White Lotus and then Nine Perfect Strangers, so and Reminiscence. So I haven't got a chance to see that one yet.
And did you see the trailer
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Sweeker?
I did. It was in the
Oh,
Netflix
okay.
upcoming movies thing, right? So I saw it in that.
Yes, yeah, it's brand new on Netflix. And of course, like Jason Momoa is a massive star, billion-dollar star now thanks to Aquaman. And yeah, so look, this movie, if Netflix did not exist, this would be a direct to DVD B movie. This is what this movie
Oh
is.
wow.
Um, yeah, like this is a movie that you would find maybe like in the cheap section of DVDs. It really is. It's look, Jason Momoa is a big star, so I'm sure it will attract people that way because of how talented he is, how big of a star he is. And he's bringing the movie. There's some awesome action sequences. He does some pretty solid acting as well, and he's solid. Jason Momoa, no problem whatsoever. It's just the overall plot, the overall story. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Look, a man loses his wife, and he goes on this revenge path to find the people responsible and to take them down, and he becomes a superhero type action star even though he's just a father. So I'll read out the plot for this movie. So devoted family man Ray Cooper vows justice against the pharmaceutical company responsible for pulling a potentially life-saving drug from the market just before his wife dies from cancer. But when his search for the truth leads to a deadly encounter that puts Ray and his daughter Rachel in harm's way, Ray's mission turns into a quest for vengeance in order to protect the only family he has left. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
We have seen this before. And the movie kind of it tries to bring an interesting spin to it. Instead of somebody killing his wife, it's a pharmaceutical company that stopped producing a drug that saves cancer patients. That's just the spin on it. And Jason Momoa with his daughter, the chemistry there, it's fine. Isabella Merchant is the daughter. Fine, no problem whatsoever. Action sequences are cool. Other than that, I've seen it before, Casey. I've seen this movie 1,000 times before. It didn't really try anything oddly new. If it brought a new kind of type of action sequence into it, or some cool camera tricks or something like that, that would have been awesome. Take a little bit of risk, but you know, I'd watch it for Jason Momoa. If you like Jason Momoa, solid choice. But if this had a random actor in it, an actor I didn't know, then I probably wouldn't watch it. It's just, it was okay. It was not good. And the critics haven't been too kind to it either. 21% on Rotten
Wow.
Tomatoes and
That's less
48,
than Batman v
48%,
Superman.
47. Yeah. Uh, but the audience score is 47%. So half of the audience is more or less like this movie, just below half. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about this. It's nearly 2 hours long, described as a mystery and thriller, but it's just didn't stick. The writing just wasn't good. Some of the dialogue is poor as
Look,
well.
if you didn't like it, then I'm for sure not gonna like it. I know that.
I, di- I didn't hate it or anything. It's a solid watch to put on. Maybe some background as you're doing some work, put it on. It's that type of movie. I was expecting more because Netflix acquired Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they'd have look at the Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, the movie they're doing. It's a pretty big movie, and that seems to be a massive movie. You have Dave Bautista, of course, from playing Drax, the Destroyer from Marvel. He's in Army of the Dead, and then you have Jason Momoa, Aquaman, the billion-dollar
And
star,
Dune.
and you have him in Dune, and you have him in this movie Sweet Girl.
Yeah.
I think they could have written something a little bit better for Jason Momoa, you know.
Yeah, it sucks.
And it comes back to the trope that Netflix movies are usually all
Yeah.
right. They're usually okay. They're never amazing. They're never great. There's a few exceptions, of course. Army Day, we all love that one. I'm sure There's a few other ones we could name as well, but the majority of the next Netflix movies are just solid movies, more or less the TV shows, which are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sweet Girl, check it out if you like Jason Momoa. Check it out if you just want to watch a solid revenge movie. And yeah, it's nothing more. I'm not going to trash in the movie because people work hard in these types of movies and stuff like that. But it's just it's okay,
All
you know.
right.
And I thought maybe the pharmaceutical company, that's an interesting twist. That's an interesting dynamic to bring into it. But it didn't really. I just kind of rolled my eyes at times of the way they were presenting it. They could have presented it a little bit better, stuff like that. And they try and say that there's this bigger conspiracy, there's this bigger mystery, and it's this, but I never really believed it. So
I see.
that's all I'll say about
Sweet girl.
Sweet Girl. Yeah. So a movie that is amazing. I don't think you've seen it yet because I don't think it's out in India.
Man,
Is Free Guy.
it sucks
Now,
so
man,
much,
let me.
dude. I was
Can
so
you tell me your
anticipating this movie and it's not releasing here.
yeah? Did you have expectations for this? Did the trailers increase it? Like what? I asked you. Tell me that, and then tell me what kind of movie you think this is.
I think it's kind of like Ready Player One, but I didn't think it was gonna be as good or, really awesome like people are saying now. I just thought that it would be some, you know, low budget, mid budget movie, and I just would like it, just because I like these smaller movies that have a strong concept and then they make a movie around it, right? So I like these kinds of movies, and I watched Guns Akimbo and Ready or Not. That's one horror movie. Um, so movies like these, I usually like it. So I was just not expecting it to be this good or something when reviews started coming out. I saw the trailer and it looked all right. It got enough interest in me that I would just watch it. Even go to the theater to watch it because, well, nothing else is playing here. So and it's Ryan Reynolds, obviously, so that was a big catch. But surprisingly, it got really, really good reviews from almost everyone, and some people called it the best movie of the year, which is shocking to me because I never expected this to be that. So I just thought that it would be, uh, you know, a random movie that I would like and forget within 2 or 3 years or something.
Yeah, and Becca reacts says, "I really want to watch this. I love Ryan. He is really funny, and yeah, he is. And check out Becca's channel as well. She reacts to music videos and concerts and songs like that. She's doing pretty well for herself too. Um, but yeah, Free Guy. So look, I went to this and it was pretty packed, which I was surprised at. The theater was big, and it's probably the best cinema experience atmosphere I've had since Endgame. You know, where there was so many people in the theater, not as many, of course, because of social distancing, but there was an atmosphere. There was an upbeat tone in the theater, and people had a really good time. I was expecting, Ryan Reynolds to be Ryan Reynolds. I was expecting Deadpool. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting jokes left, right, and center. Cameos popping up every 2 seconds, like Zoolander 2, which I hated that movie so much because there was so many cameos and it just ruined the movie. I was expecting some cool action sequences, and I was expecting Easter eggs and hints and nods to amazing video games. That exist in our world, the GTA's, the
Yeah, yeah.
Fortnite, like the massive ones, things like that. And I got those things, but I didn't get them as much as I thought I would. And actually, the story, the plot for this movie that the trailers fail to convey is pretty great, Casey. It's really good. There's a story to this movie. It's a love story. There's also kind of a conspiracy to the story as well. And the trailers never conveyed that whatsoever. They never like it just showed us, oh, it's a video game movie, Ryan Reynolds, jokes, ha ha ha, come see this. But it actually failed. I don't know if it was a strategic thing or will just show this movie as an upbeat, funny movie. will hide the actual story, the plot, or if it was a marketing failure. I don't know.
I think
But
it
it's obviously
definitely
not because
would
the movie's
be
making.
intentional because Ryan is behind that. So he would
Yeah,
definitely ensure that it's the best way to market this movie. He even got Deadpool to do it. That was just
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, that was true. So so yeah, it has so much heart to it. There's a story, love story. Ryan Reynolds' character Guy, you really feel from it. It's very much like the Truman Show. You're like realizing that, oh, not everything is what it seems. Stuff like that. And Ready Player One is similar to it as well, but it doesn't have as many Easter eggs as Ready Player One at all. But it has a real story and a real plot to it. Now, have you been spoiled for any of the cameos yet in the movie?
yeah. Unfortunately, Ryan posted it on his Twitter, and I saw the pictures first, and then I read the tweets. I was like, oh man, because I would have
Yeah,
loved to see that in the movie itself without knowing. I mean, I knew Taika was in it, but apart from that, I didn't know anyone else. So I'm not even gonna name them
yeah,
in case anyone of
no,
you don't want to know. So yeah,
yeah, and I got spoiled of them as well. Well, not all of them because he put them up on his Instagram and his Twitter. I was like, why did you do that? It's only out in 4 days, but I suppose he has to market it and get people interested and stuff like that. So yeah, the cameos are pretty cool, but there's not as many as I thought there would be. That's probably about it. The ones that you've seen, there's maybe one or two more, but I thought they would rely on all these cameos. They didn't do that. It didn't do that, or the Easter eggs or the nods or anything like that, which I was surprised at. It actually has a story, actually has a meaning, a deeper meaning behind this movie, and it's a new franchise. This is going to be we're going to get a second one, we're going to get a third one. This is pretty big, Casey. This is going to be Sean Levi, the director, and Ryan Reynolds have created a new franchise for Disney, and Disney, I think, already want a sequel.
yeah. Ryan
You know,
tweeted that uh, obviously he was being funny as well, but he kind of said that Disney wants a sequel and stuff. So yeah,
yeah. I wonder if they didn't say anything yet, and that was his way of kind of
I thought that for a
getting.
second, but I don't think like under Disney, I don't think he would do that because Disney
Yeah,
regulations are kind of more strict, and well, you never know. It's not Feige, so he probably still can. But yeah, I don't
yeah.
see I don't see how
I
this
was.
doesn't get a sequel after all this raving reviews and box office success. There's no way it's not getting a sequel.
You know, it only had like what, a 40% drop
I think
in last week.
34%. I maybe it's the
That's
pandemic
ridiculous.
record so far, but I haven't seen this low of a drop. Even with GVK, it was not this low, I think.
Yeah, but that's like, even if it wasn't a pandemic, that's pretty
Yeah,
amazing. Like, that's unheard of. Like, that's so
exactly.
good. And I think like it made half of what it made last week as well. Like, that's brilliant. And this is a movie that will have legs. Definitely. I think it's going to cross, just about to cross 100 million. So it's made its money. Well, I don't know if it's going to make its budget back, but like in the pandemic and stuff like that, it's pretty. This is only in theaters as well. You can't go and watch this on Netflix or HBO Max. You have to actually go and pay a ticket, which you know about, because it's not where you are, unfortunately. But I was 15, 20 minutes into this movie, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the first 15, 20 minutes. Not that the movie was bad. It's just I wasn't expecting this because the marketing showed me jokes and Easter eggs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
The movie wasn't what I was expecting it to be. But once I kind of lived with that, I was like, all right, okay, this isn't that. And then the movie keeps going. I'm like, I'm really digging this. This is awesome. This is better than what I thought. Which I was happy with. So yeah, I was a little bit thrown off by the marketing in a good way, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it was an awesome, awesome movie.
Yeah, I cannot wait to check it out, man. Like, they had it here as a tentative release, but then again, they removed it. I don't know why. They probably didn't get to, bring it here. But maybe it will come out next month. Who knows? But whenever it comes out, I'm definitely gonna watch it in the theater. Um, so yeah, I was actually planning to
Yeah,
like last week, even until last weekend, it was showing. as upcoming release, but then they removed it.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with the director Sean Levi, and said that they shot most of the movie. They were shooting the movie, and then Disney acquired Fox.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan called Disney or whatever. He asked them could he use few characters, and they said yeah to all of the characters that they asked for. Then they reshot
Oh.
the third act. So I knew this going into the movie, and the first act in the middle of the movie, there isn't massive like amazing cameos or massive Easter eggs and things like that because the movie when they were shooting it was very different from how they finished it because it was still a Fox movie and then Disney acquired
Right.
it at the end of production. So I was expecting going into the third act, oh, here's when the cameos are going to come. Here's when the cool moments are going to come. And Casey, they're awesome. It's pretty awesome. I'm surprised that Disney let them use these characters, especially since Disney didn't know what the final product was going to be. Like the movie was only two-thirds shot, and they didn't know it was going to be this good. And now they want sequels and stuff like that. And yeah, it's awesome when they come and there's a really funny scene. I don't want to give anything away, but and then there's awesome kind of Easter eggs and the character pops up, uses a different kind of prop. It's awesome. It's just insane. So yeah, I was expecting to go into the third act, but the theater I was in, the atmosphere hasn't been this good since Endgame. And that was
Nice.
massive.
So there is
So I
word
had a
of
good time.
mouth buzz around this movie because there was, at least I thought there was for Suicide Squad, but the theaters were kind of empty,
Yeah. Suicide Squad is going to be thrown out of theaters. That's how bad it's gotten. So
unfortunately.
it's because nobody is seeing the movie, so it's taking up screenings, and theaters don't
Yeah.
want that because if it was packed, it'd be even more. Like old is still out here. It's still going because
Nice.
there's people going to watch it. It's doing really well. I think it's crossed 80 million or 88 million
M. Night has a
nationally.
huge
Another hit.
fan base of his own, loyal fan
Yeah,
base.
his
Yeah.
name, his name alone
And
carries
I'm one of them
most of
too
his
now.
movies.
I recently just watched all of his movies except Avatar and Lady in the Lake or something. Except those two, I've
I
seen
haven't seen
all
that.
of them. Like I I think he's a really good filmmaker, based on how he directs and how he tells stories. But yeah, he does have a fan base.
Definitely, and yeah, he's amazing. So, but yeah, uh, like Free Guy, old. These movies are having legs in a pandemic, like Jungle Cruise as well. So there is a way to make money,
Yeah.
and Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds is doing
Free
that.
Guy is
So definitely
also
go check
a
it out. Yeah,
theatrical only movie. So that's also something we have to keep in mind.
yeah, exactly. But it's a family fun movie with awesome moments in it that word of mouth will gather, and that's what it's doing right now. So fair play to Ryan Reynolds. He has another franchise. And if you look at Ryan Reynolds and his openings to other movies, Free Guy has done better than most of his non-Deadpool ones.
Yeah.
And this is in a pandemic. So that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. And I can't wait to
But
see it.
yeah, go check it out, everybody. It's awesome. Um, JC,
Yeah.
you want to talk about the next
Yeah.
movie?
So the next movie is um Hugh Jackman's Reminiscence. So I saw this trailer in July, I think, when it came out. Um the first teaser or first trailer,
Yeah,
whatever that was. I saw that one, and it really caught me by surprise. And I thought, why weren't they showing anything, with this movie? Because that's the first time I actually heard about it. And also, it wasn't on the list of the day and date release announcements and all that. This movie was not on the list, but now it released day and date, like on HBO Max and in theaters. So this kind of came out of nowhere, and people started noticing it just last month when the trailer dropped and the poster. Obviously, it has Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson, but
yeah,
And the director is Lisa Joy, who was a writer on Westworld, and um, she wrote and directed this. So this is her feature debut. But you know, coming into this movie, people were expecting it to not be good because Warner Brothers didn't promote this movie at all. There's just one trailer and one poster. That's it. And this week we've been seeing some TV spots and all that on the YouTube channels, but there's literally no hype or buzz for this movie, and it looks really awesome from the trailers. So people were wondering why they, didn't build up anything for this movie, or they didn't, hype it up as much as, because it looked really good. It looked like a Nolan movie, looked like Inception, and all that stuff. So then I watched it last night, and, and I understood why. Because firstly, I thought that this movie, the first half, I was just really bored and kind of disappointed. And I thought I was just begging because I was interested in the world, and the plot that was going on was kind of boring, but everything else was good. The look was good. Obviously, you have Hugh Jackman, the story that was playing out, the concepts were good, but the way the story was being told in the first half of the movie, it was just kind of boring and very slow to me. But I like that. But still, in this movie, somehow didn't work for me, and I was kind of disappointed. And I was just begging for the ending to be good. And then some twist happens at halftime or somewhere around that, and then I was like, oh, okay, now this got me interested. And after that, it was just going pretty well, and it also ended really good. And I thought that the acting, the story, how it ended, and the twists in the movie, it's really a Lisa Joy movie, I would say, because this writing was so familiar to me from Interstellar of Jonathan Nolan, and and Westworld, and some of Inception. So I would say that you kind of get the Easter eggs from those movies, and Westworld as well when you watch this. So the twist and all, I kind of saw that coming like 5 to 10 seconds before it actually happened, and I was like, wow, this is actually really beautiful. And and after that, it just redeemed the movie for me. So at first I thought it was gonna be bad, and then I saw the movie, and the first half I was disappointed, but then by the end I liked it. So, but yeah, I can see why the reviews are not really good, and why people don't like it as much. I can see why. It's some people get turned off really easily. Maybe they turned off the movie itself when they were getting bored and stuff. So who knows? But yeah, um, Becca asks, so it's not a slow burn movie like it shows. It is a slow burn movie, but I don't think that's in a good way. I think the movie should have had a strong opening or something to get you hooked, and then go into the slow mode, and then you do the twist and stuff. But I just thought that the first half was really boring, and even for me, I love sci-fi. I love all the concepts that were going on, and I love thrillers and mysteries and slow burns. I love that. But even I was just not that interested in that. So yeah, that was the first half though. So overall, I like the movie. I think by the end it redeems itself, and I would say the movie still has some flaws, but overall, I did enjoy it. I didn't regret watching it.
Yeah, it's look, it has a $65 million budget, and it made 2 million domestically this weekend, this opening weekend, and 3 million internationally. And I think it came out. It's not like it came out limited in international markets. It came out in 48 markets, I think it was, and it only made 3 million. That's
Yeah,
bad.
it's
That's
definitely
really
a
bad.
flop.
This, this movie, like I don't know, Casey. Like I think if they marketed this movie a little bit better, brought in is Christopher Nolan's brother? Is he involved with this? Is that what I read as well? He's married to the
Yes.
director or the writer or something like
Jonathan
that.
Nolan is also a executive producer, but I don't. No, I think he's a producer
Yeah,
on this, but I might be wrong. Maybe a
yeah.
producer or executive producer, but I saw his name in the credits.
And I'm sure if you go into his IMDb, he's been on
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan movies before.
he wrote
Well,
Interstellar.
why didn't they do? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they say from the writer of Interstellar or the producer of Inception, or why didn't they do this in the marketing?
Maybe they
It's
just wanted,
stupid.
Lisa Joy to have her own, to stand on her own or something. I don't know.
This, this is their first
Yeah,
movie, and I think she did a fine, okay job. But like the marketing for this movie was shocking. It was
yeah,
terrible. They set this movie up to fail. They really did. Now I thought they released the trailer so late because it's a streaming movie as well. Let's just put it in people's minds now, really fresh. So then when it comes out, they'll watch it. But they didn't back this
yep.
movie at all. You have Hugh Jackman, who is famous, is a huge name as Wolverine, of course. Greatest Showman was a huge hit, had amazing box office legs. He's done his touring shows where he sings and dances and tells stories and stuff like that. So he's got a massive fan base, huge fan base, and they didn't eat into that whatsoever. They should have added into Christopher Nolan's brother. Westworld, the dynamic there. That's a pretty big hit show as well in its own right. They didn't do this whatsoever. They set this movie up to fail. 65 million budget has only made 5 million in its opening weekend. Absolute disaster. Terrible from Warner Brothers. I think it's the worst movie, like big movie in the pandemic era. Like of all the big movies, this has been
Yep.
the worst because they set up to fail. The marketing was shocking. It was terrible. Now I was watching some interviews with Hugh Jackman. He says what the hologram stuff that's in the movie. He could see that while he was acting.
Really?
That has never been done before. Yeah, that was real. So when he was looking at in the movie, you can look within people's memories, and it comes up in like a hologram. So a person is asleep. They're in this kind of tub of water, and there's all these kind of stuff connected to them. And if your Hugh Jackman is able to, he kind of owns the machine. He runs it. He's able to see the person's memories in front of him in a hologram form. They could see that while they were acting on
Wow.
set. Apparently, that's what they said. And this has never been done before. This is new. This is new technology. They never brought that into the marketing either. They should have did a featurette, a behind the scenes featurette, with the trailer or a few other, just drop a few videos. Hugh Jackman put it up on his Instagram, stuff like that. I think it would have stood to it big time, this new technological advance in cinematic making. Why not?
I
It's
just
a missed opportunity. It really, really
I
is.
just think that they saw the movie and then they decided that this movie probably would not be received well, by most people, and that's probably why they cut down on marketing. And you also notice that the runtime is 1 hour 55 minutes again?
Oh, that seems to be the
Yeah,
trademark. That seems to be the trademark,
yeah.
which is pretty annoying. Yeah, but like, just for people that don't know, all of the HBO Max day and date release seems to be all under 2 hours
Except the
for some
Suicide
reason.
Squad. Obviously,
Um,
James Gunn gets to
Except for
keep
the
everything.
Suicide. Uh,
Yeah,
he gets James Gunn got 100% say, and the one time the director gets all the say, flops as well. So, not flops, but doesn't do as well.
it
Maybe
did
as
flop on
you know.
in the
Uh,
box office though.
yeah, it's not been good. It's not been good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, I know we're just talking about the marketing and stuff. Warner Brothers botched the marketing. I don't think they fully backed the director or the movie itself, which was a shame. I think if they did back it and they put in a big marketing campaign, this movie at the box office overall, I think it could have made not 60 million overall, maybe, but I think it could have made between 20 and 25 million by the end of its run if they really
Yeah.
marketed this. Opening weekend of
They sold
say,
Justice
let's say
League.
8, 9, 10 million.
This was easily sellable. Easily.
Yeah. Yeah, and if this made 8, 9, 10 million in its opening weekend, that wouldn't have been too bad. It would have dragged on to 20 million, 25 million. That would have been okay because then it was on HBO Max as well. You could make up a few excuses there, but they didn't back it whatsoever. But into the movie, I thought it was just reminded me of other movies that I've seen before. When they bring this kind of element into it, it was like the twists and the turns didn't like put my jaw on the floor or anything like that.
Yeah.
I could probably predict them if you said, "What do you think's going to happen next?" I could probably write down a few options and I would probably get it
Yeah.
right. It wasn't mind blowing or anything, but in this world, there's been floods or the oceans have risen, and the people live in the top of buildings and stuff like that. What did they say in the movie? Kind of most of the earth is covered in water, that kind
I
of way,
don't
I
think
think.
they even gave a reason for why that happened.
Yeah, I was just going to say it would have been cool to learn more backstory to that, or how electricity is working
Yeah.
and stuff like that. How did they build, and I thought from the trailers we would get some kind of cool Blade Runner 2049 shots or cyberpunk type, noir kind of shots like that. We didn't get too many of
Yeah.
those. I would have liked to have seen this world. How do people
But
live? How do people act?
yeah.
I didn't really
But
get that much.
hearing the budget for the movie, just from what you just said, I think did it pretty well because it still felt like a big movie, but the budget is not over $100 million, right? So
Yeah.
I think they did a good job with utilizing the budget because it looked like a high end movie.
Yeah, there's some brilliant shots
Yeah,
in the movie as well.
but it's not as much
So
as Blade Runner, obviously.
no, no, there's some like background
Yeah,
shots that look amazing, or some camera choices. There's a part where two characters end up going into the water. They break
yeah,
through
that was good.
a floor, and there's a fight sequence underneath water. That was cool. That was well done. So yeah, I thought the movie was fine. It was okay. It was interesting. Hugh Jackman was brilliant, of course. He's kind of like trying to unravel this mystery. He's lost somebody that he loves, but he has to go into not her memories, but other people that have come across her, go into their memories, piece it all together. And there's a nice twist by the end. I kind of liked the way it was done at
Yeah,
the end. The kind of, you've seen the movie, the scene where he kind of realizes what has been going on and how he, stuff like that. I thought that was well done. I really liked the execution at the end. I didn't really like the ending part where he is in the same place and it's kind of cemented, that
you
kind of thing.
didn't?
But he's no, I didn't. I didn't like it because just what he lives there for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I mean, it
You
it
know,
plays off the theme. You know, you see the scene with them together, right? In the end, they have a story that Hugh tells her. So that theme
yeah,
is kind of what the movie did. So I think that was executed well because obviously they kept repeating it so many times, so they had to use it somewhere.
uh,
And that repeating also was so
kind of
frustrating to
like
me. Like, yes, we get it. I can remember this until the end. Go on. You don't have to repeat it 3 4
yeah,
times.
yeah. It's kind of like, would you rather live the rest of your life in all your good memories,
Yeah.
or live in the world that we're in now? It's kind of it's a good question to think about, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Reminiscent, um, solid watch, okay watch, but it could have been
Yeah. Could have been
a
way
lot
better.
better. The idea was brilliant. I think if you give this to somebody who's a pro director or a pro writer, I think they could have done an amazing job on this. But her first
Yeah.
movie, not going to sacrifice her, not going to, not going to do anything like
Yeah.
that. But I'll be interested in what she does next. I
Yeah,
really
for
will.
sure. I mean,
Because
like you said, the idea was great.
this,
So, yeah.
yeah, and this movie, see, who knows, it could find an audience.
Yeah.
It could be the Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner of our generation. Maybe, I don't know. What I did like was the voiceover from Hugh
Yes.
Jackman. I actually like that, where he's
Yeah.
walking through the streets or the buildings, and there's water and stuff like that, and he's doing a voiceover. I did
Yeah.
like that. I thought that brought something
There was a cool
very calming to it.
John Wick type graphic novel type style to it, but visually it still felt like a Nolan movie, It didn't feel like a graphic novel type
Yeah,
movie. So I think
yeah.
that could also have been changed a bit to make it more appealing in that genre. But yeah.
Mm. If like the movie, it looks good, but say if you had somebody who's like a Denis Villeneuve or a Zack Snyder or a Larry Fawn as a cinematographer, like this movie could have been a movie where the story is really, really like it's interesting enough, but the shots are amazing. It just looks beautiful. I'm just watching a graphic novel or whatever on
Yeah.
screen. That would have added to it a lot. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure. So, would you recommend this movie to anyone to watch it?
yeah, like I'd say like my mother likes Hugh Jackman. I put it on for her. I tell her to watch it. I think if you're a Hugh Jackman fan, watch it. No harm.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me a little bit of the Little Things
Oh, yeah.
um, with Jared Leto and Denzel Washington, Rami Malek. Like not amazing story or anything like that, but the twist and the kind of mystery and the kind of what's going on stood to the movie while you're watching it. This was similar
Hmm.
to that. And this felt like a streaming movie, and the Little Things felt like a streaming movie, even though it had massive
Yeah.
stars in it. But I think if they had changed this to a HBO Max original, it'd be a little bit kinder to it. It would have been a little bit would have been better for the status of the movie than what it is right now as a 5 million box office failure.
Yeah.
I think this could have done well for as a HBO Max original, and they marketed it a little bit better. I think it could have been watched. The Little Things was watched a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, at that time they didn't even have much content though, so maybe that had to do with it. But yeah, it was. It had Jared Leto, so and Denzel
Yeah,
Washington.
true. Yeah. But Hugh Jackman's a good big star in his
Yeah.
own right, so I'm sure he would have attracted a lot of people. So yeah, it's just a shame how they handled this movie. I think it's a failure from Warner Brothers' part. Not really the director or the writers.
Yeah.
I think. I think.
Oh well. We'll move on to the next topic, which is the White Lotus. Um. Okay. So you want to start, or should I?
Yeah, well, like, so I kept seeing this show advertised kind of because I follow Alexandra Daddario, Sydney Sweeney, who are actresses in this movie, and they kept promoting it, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. But then I realized that it was a HBO Max production or HBO production, sorry. And I don't know about UKC, but HBO is like
Yep.
pinnacle of TV shows.
100%.
It just really is. You look at Game of Thrones, True Detective season one, Chernobyl, they're making The Last of Us. And there's millions of shows that I'm missing right now, but their quality is always fantastic. The way it's shot, the actors, the writing, the directing, it's always pretty good. It's always a solid watch. Some of them are great, some of them are amazing. So that's why I probably sat down to watch these 6 episodes, and they're all around an hour long, so 6 hours. And I didn't, like you, I didn't watch any trailers for this. I just had seen images and posters and stuff like that. So I went into this fresh. I like doing this
Yeah,
for
me too.
movies and shows sometimes, not knowing what it's about. I've done this before with Wrath of Man, with The Gentleman, with a few other movies as well, where I've never seen any piece of
Yeah.
trailers. And I've been intrigued. The main plot for this episode is the exploits of various guests and employees at a tropical resort over the span of a week. So we follow these guests that go to this resort in Hawaii. It is. So you have a family, you have a new married couple, you have a woman who's going through a midlife crisis. You have you have the hotel manager who has kind of a mysterious kind of past surrounding him. You've got some other people that work at the resort. Like it's. I was expecting like a massive like cliffhanger or a massive kind of stuff, something to happen in episode 2 or 3 or 4, and it sets up the show. But I kept waiting around for something to happen.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for that big thing to like, oh right, okay, now I'm intrigued. But we don't get that big thing until maybe the last episode, and then it's just
Yeah.
over. Just like, oh, okay, oh, well, I would have liked to see the repercussions of that.
Exactly.
Like what happens next. I would have liked to see. Does he have to? Do these people have to cover this kind of thing up? But no, nothing. No, the critics have loved this 88%, and audiences have loved it 78%. So people have enjoyed it. Now, maybe it's because you have some beautiful people in this movie, like Alexandra Daddario and Sydney Sweeney, who are walking around in bikinis. That could be a big factor in it as well. And look, no judgments here whatsoever. I think those two are actually pretty good, great actors. Alexandra Daddario was in True Detective season one. So she'll always be a favorite of mine. And Sydney Sweeney is brilliant in the show Euphoria, which is another HBO show. Definitely check that out, Casey. It's awesome. But yeah, we're just following these people, and they're living their lives, and they're at this hotel, and they're just going through personal problems and relationship problems. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, oh, that's cool. But I, I'm like, why was this show made? But I think there is a lot of undertones to it. About living your life, about how the status of rich people compared to minorities and stuff like that. There is some undertone there, especially like we get little bits about like the Hawaiian people were driven off their land for this resort to be built, and now the people who are from Hawaii, their ancestors that lived in this land, they're now working at this hotel where they were ran from, stuff like that. So there is some interesting stuff to it. But yeah, I thought it was a fine watch. But I did like the score
Yeah.
to it, the show, how it like, in anticipation it builds up. You kind of you're not on the edge of your seat, but you're kind of your heartbeat is going as well. You're in this moment, and yeah, it's a really high, well done production, nice directing, good performances. Was just missing that extra something.
Yeah, look, I think I think I liked it more than you. I really loved the look. Firstly, before I get into this show, I would say that one of my favorite movies or shows to watch is getting a bunch of people, different varied people together, and putting them in one room or one location, and then see what happens, right? So that creates a lot of tension, mystery, their secrets. So I love that kind of storytelling. I love whenever that happens. So with that said, obviously this also has that with a massive scale thing location, with the White Lotus being one of the award winning, two-time award winning or something, restaurant that people go for vacation. So no restaurant, a hotel. So yeah, I the premise was very intriguing to me, and people, every week they were praising this show so much. And Sean said he started watching, then I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. So I didn't see any trailer, no posters, nothing, and I just jumped right into it. Um, the opening scene was very interesting because it kind of showed you from there's this character called Armand White, and he's basically the main character, I think, of the show. He is the owner and the manager of the White Lotus, and
He's like the connective tissue to
yes,
everything that's going
yeah,
on. He's the manager, so he comes across all of these
exactly.
guests.
So we see the opening through his perspective, and he is, initially he is seen as the lead of the show, and you see from his perspective, you meet people from his perspective and all that. So they already lay down the rules of how he is and how other people are from his side, because he is a manager, and he is in the service line, right? So he has to be cool and composed, and obviously this is a resort for rich people, so you somehow you'll get spoiled brats, and they will just be entitled and cause shit, so he'll have to deal with that, right? So that was also interesting way to set up the characters at first, and they kind of show you who each character is by description, and then some of them turn out to be different than what you first see, obviously just like real life and all that. But yeah, I thought that the introduction was pretty good, and then like you, I was waiting for that one thing. Maybe this is a thriller, maybe there's a murder here, maybe it's horror. I didn't know the show was even about, right? So I was just waiting for something to happen. And then I realized that, oh, it's just, we just have to watch them, you know, watch stuff happen until they're here. So they were on vacation for like a week or two, and that's the the entire time period of this. And each character is pretty interesting in the way that they behave with other characters as well as the manager Armand. So yeah, all that stuff was interesting. There's some racial undertones. There's colonialism. There's um, white guilt, all of that stuff is in there, and I think they did a pretty good job of tackling these issues, because it's like everything was in there, and it was like playing with fire. you know and cancel culture, woke culture, all that stuff is there. So I was like, oh shit, so maybe this is why critics liked it, because they always look for that sort of stuff in shows. And I'm someone who doesn't like it when there's overuse of all that in the movies or shows, when it becomes very distracting from the
Yeah,
main story. But here it didn't feel it like that. It felt very organic, and I enjoyed. It was done in a fun way as well. Like there's a lot of comedy to it because of how the parents are and how kids are, and some of
yeah,
them are unknowingly racist and sexist and all that. So it becomes kind of funny how you see it from the kids' perspective. And there's a lot of fun stuff with that. And
yeah.
also I was just like you, I was waiting until the end, and the sixth episode came. And you know although a lot of cool shit does happen and I was really enjoying it, I just wanted to keep watching it, but nothing major happens, right? And all the stuff
No,
is just keeping on building up until the very end, so you expect something big to happen, right? But that never happened. And even the
no.
end plot twist or reveal or whatever that happened, it was very anticlimactic. And I was like, oh, really? They didn't even, build up to what happened at the end. And
Didn't even talk
yeah,
about
exactly. But I think
it. Didn't.
Yeah, but I think the ending was kind of rushed, and from a viewer's perspective, like it happened and then it kept happening, and then it ended, right? And I was like, okay, maybe there's a message there about how rich people can get away with anything and all that stuff. So that was kind of the message, but it kind of felt anticlimactic by the end. And then I was really disappointed because of it being 6 episodes. I was thinking that it's a mini series, so I thought that was legit the end of the show. But then I went
Yeah.
online and saw some YouTube videos, of the making of the show and all that, and then they were like, "Oh, season two is coming." So that kind of gave me some
Yes.
relief, because a lot of the character arcs were started but never explored in the end. So I was like,
Yes,
why did you just
but
bounce off of it, right? So if season two is coming,
yeah,
then I was like, okay, fine. Yes. Sure.
it's officially renewed for season two,
Oh,
but it looks like it's going to be with an entirely
yeah.
new cast.
Yeah.
I think there is some characters that you could bring
I
back
think the hotel
in, like, if they go to a different.
cast might be the same, because most of them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But I was reading up as well, and it's going to take place at a White Lotus property, but in a completely different place, not Hawaii.
Oh,
It's going to take place somewhere else. So I don't know if there's a White Lotus in where else, Barbados, Japan. I don't know, but that's what's going to happen in the next season. That's the talk.
cool. I'd love
Now,
that. I mean, I like the concept
yeah,
of, like I said, even just the premise of this show. I liked it, because I always love when you make a you know movie around a bunch of people that come together, and um you just have to see what happens.
yeah, and like the White Lotus properties, the resorts are basically for rich people. So this cast could pop up again in a different
Yeah.
resort somewhere else. One or two of them in season two or three, whatever. But you see, so like if I just called out a few movies to you, like, and just putting them all together, like, what would you think of them? So, Pitch Perfect 3, the Emoji Movie, okay? Let's say Magic Mike. We have another one here, Nacho Libre with Jack Black. I've never seen that one. What would you think about those movies? Do you think they're cinema, or what would you think about those
Are you
movies?
asking me? I'm Martin Scorsese. Well, I like Magic Mike. I haven't seen the other movies. I haven't seen the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, well,
No.
yeah, well, the Emoji Movie is regarded as one of the worst movies
Yeah.
ever, and Pitch Perfect 3 was pretty bad. Even though I like Pitch Perfect 1, Pitch Perfect 3 was just like, wasn't even about acapella singing. It was just terrible. But the writer for those movies created this show.
Oh,
So yeah, you've seen him pop up in movies
Mike
before.
White.
Mike
Yeah.
White is his name. Yeah, he's been in School of Rock. He wrote School of Rock as well. A few other Jack Black movies. But I just thought it was interesting to see that he created the show when
He
his
finally got a win.
he yeah. Well, like his highest rated is School of Rock, which he wrote years ago with Jack Black. But the White Lotus is up there as one of his one of his biggest hits, and the Emoji Movie was his lowest with 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
So, uh, so yeah, fair play to him, and he did a pretty good job. Maybe he found his calling, this kind of dramatic, kind of satire
Yeah.
type of show. But yeah, I don't think it was a risk-taking show, but I think it was well made, well written, and so
Yeah. The cast
interesting
was
cast.
also very, very diverse. So you get so many cultural backgrounds and you delve into their thinking, whether it's right or wrong, they still tackle that and they get into that. So there's an 80 to 90% chance that you will relate to at least one character in the show while watching. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think all of that was very well tackled, and it didn't feel very cringe, except not on purpose. Some scenes were cringe, but that was on purpose, and you're supposed to be cringing at that. But yeah, it
yeah,
it I thought it was a pretty good surprise, and I liked it.
yeah. I definitely watched season
Yeah,
two, and I thought, yeah. So let's see what kind of it could get an even bigger cast for season two, which would be awesome. Some big household names thrown in
yeah,
there. And, yeah, I'd be intrigued to see where they go next with the story. Hope they bring something new to it
yeah.
as well.
What did you think of? Firstly, what did you think of the Sydney's friend's character's plan?
I hated
Yeah,
her. I
yeah,
just really hated her. She talks about like the rich people being spoiled brats. She was just really kind of
yeah.
immature, and
I
she was basically she's not rich herself. I don't think. Well, maybe she's well off, but she's not as rich as like Sydney Sweeney's character, their family. She's gone on vacation with them because she's in college with her. Maybe she's rich, but I don't. She didn't really present herself that way. But yeah, she's on holiday with them. She meets a guy. The guy working at the resort. He doesn't have much money and stuff like that. And she comes up with this big elaborate plan to kind of f over the rich people. And so this guy, this that she likes, to make him money, get him for him to steal something so he can cash in and make some money. Plan was stupid. Her reaction to the plan was stupid, and I just did not like her whatsoever. Immature, and I just wanted to drop kick
yeah.
her. It was just
I
annoying.
loved her story
Yeah,
arc because of the way she was behaving. Some people might actually side with her and think that she's right, but in the end she was proven wrong and she realizes that. So I really loved that, and I thought that was brilliantly done because the whole time they just show her perspective, and some people will definitely agree with her and side with her for sure. And the show doesn't, at first the show doesn't show it as a bad thing or something wrong, but it just shows her perspective, and she totally believes that, and she is in that mindset. But at the end, you realize that she was wrong the whole time and she shouldn't have done that. So I just hope that more people don't relate to her and do what she did. But yeah, the plan just
Yeah,
was wrong. And even though the show, focused on her motivation for doing it and for her reasons to doing it, um, if you're a decent human being, obviously you'll feel that it was wrong. But that's what I felt, and at least by the end, even she realized that. So I thought that story arc was very interesting and intriguing to me how that all unfolded. But again, by the end, literally nothing happened, no consequence, and the
no,
other person just
I
disappeared.
guess
So I was like,
yeah,
what?
it was yeah, she ruined that guy's life and she didn't even apologize. So yeah, it was the show was not perfect. There's definitely some arcs that were working resolved, right?
Maybe an
And
eight
that's
episode
what was a little bit
season would have had
frustrating.
that.
Yeah, but you wrote it for six, so you should
Yeah,
be able to finish it in six
that's right.
episodes if that's the way you wrote it. So yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, it's. I don't know if the Rotten Tomatoes score is justified, 88%. I don't know if that's justified, to be
Critics,
honest.
I think, just
But
like everything that has, political undertones. They always like that.
yeah,
So just by
yeah,
having that in your show, they'll obviously like it. That's for sure. But I'm surprised the
yeah,
audience's rating is
yeah,
that high.
and they presented it in your face
Yeah,
as well. It's not like it was hidden. I think if this was like more of a subjective undertone, they wouldn't have liked the movie because they don't know what is the political
exactly.
agenda, what is the they wanted spoon fed to them, and this show spoon
Yeah,
feeds it to them. I think if they had to look for and ask questions, they wouldn't have liked it. That's just what
yeah,
I think
that's
there,
true.
but you know,
Did you
but
like what happened with a certain character that was, obviously set up at the beginning of the show? Do you did you like the ending, you know, what happened with that character?
which character? Sorry.
Um, okay, so at the beginning, the first opening of the show, there's the airport scene, right? And the guy sitting there and the couples. So
Oh
they're
yeah,
loading something into
yeah,
the plane. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that there would be. I thought so. Obviously, we don't know what that scene is because then it jumps back 2 weeks previous or whatever and tells the story of the series. When we got to that moment, I was like, "All right, cool. They're coming back to
Yeah.
the scene." I was like, "Maybe this guy has, maybe this character has fully developed. Maybe this character has a new lease of life. Maybe this character realizes that he can be better as a person." And he does. He's
Yeah.
not. I didn't get that whatsoever. He says something to a different character, and it just makes me think that this guy is
Yep.
one spoiled rich prick, and he has not developed whatsoever. Even though he's gone through, he's put somebody else who he's supposed to love through something unsupportive environment, and then he did something terrible as well, and he just doesn't care. He just it affects him for a minute,
Yeah.
and then he's back to his old ways. So yeah, it's and then the character that he meets, where you think, oh, he's gonna maybe apologize, or he's gonna develop as a character. You feel bad for the other
Exactly.
character because then they have to feel bad for acting the way that they did, even though maybe the way they acted was justified.
Yeah.
It was frustrating, very frustrating
Yeah.
show.
It was definitely frustrating, and on purpose, I think, because there's so much stuff in here that they make you angry because of the character's choices. But I think that was the goal of Mike White and all that. But yeah, the character at the end, I've heard, I've seen the episodes, inside the episode videos on YouTube for this show, and Mike White actually says that the character made that choice because that is something realistic, and he has seen in real life some of his friends and all that making that choice. So he said that it was his motive to include that, because we are totally expecting the other thing that was going on, right? But at the end, it just switched, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah. Rich people, man.
Yeah.
Rich people.
Well, overall, I would definitely, I would definitely recommend it if you have time. Definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. I feel, it's very well made, and there's some really funny things in it, and it's interesting. And another show like this is Nine Perfect Strangers. I think Sean, you should definitely watch it. It's similar to this, but it's kind of darker and more mysterious. It's not a funny show like this one. But yeah, it has a similar thing. There's Nicole Kidman, there's Michael Shannon, there's also uh,
Melissa
Melissa
McCarthy.
McCarthy, and who is that? I forgot the um, Samara Weaving. Yeah, she's also in this. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Only 3 episodes came out, but yeah, it's a weekly show, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait a week. But yeah, if you're
Yeah.
if you're interested by this, definitely check that out as well.
You can watch The White Lotus on
Yeah,
HBO.
HBO and
Canadian was as
oh,
well.
Nine Perfect Strangers. This one is a Hulu original, but I saw it on Amazon Prime. It's available on Prime, so I saw it there. All right, so moving on to the next topic, which is what if, episode 2. Well, firstly, I really loved this episode. I thought it was very emotional, well made, and it's way better than the first one. I thought that they did a pretty good job in setting up the entire thing. The story was great, and the characters that appear in this are also surprising and awesome. And the thing I didn't like in the first one was that it was kind of by the numbers, just one or two changes and then the entire movie was the same. But here you get a different thing. It's not like Guardians, it's not like Black Panther, or any other movie. It's similar in that world, but it's its own thing. There's no repeated story going on, right? So some elements are repeated, obviously, just to change the origin story and all that. But yeah, apart from that, I love this, and the ending was really emotional. And obviously, this is the last Chadwick performance that we will ever get, so that also factors into it.
I actually, I actually read that he's going to be in a few more episodes
Oh,
later on in the
really?
series. So yeah, it's. I thought it was his last episode as well, but he
They
actually
did the whole
probably have
thing
one or two places. So
at the end.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but I was reading. They said there was in a few more. Maybe that was false information. I don't know, but maybe they'll just do that. They're probably going to do that for every time he appears, and they'll probably do it for Black Panther too. So
Cool.
yeah, I don't know what other episode he's going to appear in, but yeah, that's what I read anyway. So
Cool. But yeah, I liked it overall, and this was definitely a better episode than the last one. And yeah, the ending was also pretty good. It was funny, and I really appreciated it. What did you think?
yeah, you would think after the first episode, what they would do is they would have T'Challa in Star Lord's place and show him making his own Guardians of the Galaxy. Because the first episode was just like basically the first
Yeah,
Avenger, Captain America, the first Avenger, with a few tweaks here and there. This one was T'Challa becomes is Star Lord. Michael Rooker's character of what's his name,
Yondu.
Yandu. He takes him in, of course, very much like this opening the Guardians. And yeah, look, I thought this was very fast paced, a lot of fun. What if T'Challa became Star Lord? Yeah, it was really fast
Yeah,
paced, kind of like a heist to it. And the episode was like 24, 25 minutes long, so like, you're thrown into it. I thought it was very, very funny. Great comedy in it. The comedy so far, I think in the first episode has been really good. The action sequences have been brilliant as well. So that's all. It's very entertaining. I love the pieces. Like it wasn't like full on referencing the movies, but the dialogue is like it's nods to the movies. It's kind of like satire to the
Yeah.
movies. Stuff like the genocide
Yeah.
line. Thanos, very funny. There's a few other lines I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's similar
Yeah.
dialogue from other movies. You're like, that's funny. So I thought it was awesome, and like you got T'Challa and you have Thanos working together, and Thanos is kind of like it was awesome to see like Josh Brolin. I think it was actually him. Was it him
Yeah.
that showed up? It was a voice. It sounded like
Yep.
him. That's awesome. It was brilliant, awesome. And Michael Rooker was doing the voice for his
Yeah.
character as well. Chadwick, of course, as well. Benicio del Toro came back to do the Collector.
Oh, the collector
Awesome,
character
awesome
was
stuff.
awesome in
So
this.
really, really cool.
I
Really liked it.
also
So
liked when
yeah,
T'Challa goes near a spaceship and then enters it, and then you hear the Black Panther music, and I was like, damn, they're doing such a good job here.
yeah, that was
Oh,
awesome. You also
and
have
yeah, Karen
Sure.
Gillan.
Yeah, Karen Gillan showed up, and her look was
Yeah.
really cool as well. So like, there's some like, not every single actor is doing the voice for their character that they did in live action, but there's a lot of surprises. Josh Brolin showing up is awesome. Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, he came back to do the voice for his character. That was cool. T'Challa's father, who played him in the movies, he came back to his voice. Just cool. It is really cool. Even Denai Guerrera came back as well
Jaiman Hansu.
for her character. Yeah, that's cool to hear
Yeah.
all them come back. Even in the previous episode, you had Stanley Tucci come
Hmm.
back, stuff like that, even for small roles. It's awesome. It's cool to see. So, what I really, really enjoyed was just like the pacing of it. Like you're on this journey with these characters. They give you the plot straight away. Okay, we've got to go do this mission. We got to go get this thing, and you're thrown into it. And it's cool action, the one-liners, the chemistry between the cast. Really enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with this. I think they're doing a really
Yeah.
good job. I was a little bit afraid after episode one that it would just be rehashed of the movies, similar. The similarities are the same, but just to throw in like add-ons, like I don't know, the Iron Man suit or the squid and stuff like that. But no, this was an original idea for this
Yeah.
one. So brilliant.
Yeah. Loved it. Can't wait for the next one.
I can't wait for the zombie one. That's episode
Yeah.
7. It was cool. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
See, because Captain America, I think, and Iron Man are going to be zombies.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Marvel, we have Eternals. The trailer came out. The final trailer came out. And this was amazing. And I was really surprised by this trailer. The first, okay, so Eternals is something that I have no idea about. I don't know who these characters are. I don't know what their powers are. And I was not that interested in this, but I was definitely gonna watch it, obviously. But that first teaser or trailer, whatever that came out, and it was not as interesting to me. It just felt okay. It didn't feel as big, or um, it didn't feel like a huge, massive scale movie at that time. But this trailer came out and it just blew my mind by what scale they showed here. They show literally a celestial creating a galaxy. that was that was crazy, and the visuals are pretty good. The color grading I liked for the most part, but I still don't like the empty white skies look that MCU has. But there's some shots that are really really good, like the sun, the UFO that they are in, and inside that their powers are cool and stuff like that. I think a lot of it is pretty cool, and this trailer definitely got me more excited for Eternals than anything they have put out so far. I was genuinely not that interested in this, but now I definitely am. And by the end of the trailer, you just feel like yeah, this is going to be as big in scale as Guardians 1, where they explain all this history that you have of the Celestials and where they were and all that. There's they've been on Earth since 7,000 years. So obviously they will tackle some history and all that. So I'm always interested in that stuff. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I wonder did they put all the stuff in the trailers because they want to see is there interest for this movie because like with the Delta variant and stuff like this, like would they do a date and day release of Disney Plus and theaters? Maybe not after what's happening with Black Widow, but there's definitely interest for this, definitely. And I thought visually the film looked absolutely stunning. You know, some of the shots were amazing, and Chloe Zhao, of course, Oscar winner director for Nomadland, she shot a lot of these on location, a lot of these shots and stuff like that, which you can really tell and it really stands. And of course, everything's not real. There's a lot of CGI in this movie as well, and a lot more action than I was expecting. And very Superman-like powers from one of the
Speaking
characters
of, a
as
lot
well,
more of
which
that than I
was
was expecting as
awesome.
well because I saw Chloe's movie Nomadland and it was very, very grounded and dry. But here they have
Yeah, exactly.
CGI, it's big, massive scale, so I'm really impressed.
Yeah, and you got a great cast. The only thing that not ruined the trailer, but just brought it down was some of the
Yeah,
comedy choices. Like if they didn't have those two jokes, this is an amazing
yeah,
trailer. You know, it really is. Especially the end joke, like yeah, it's
yeah,
funny, but it doesn't suit the rest of
yeah.
the trailer. It doesn't suit the rest of the trailer. And but yeah, I love seeing all the powers from the certain characters, like you know, these Silentians, is it? Or what?
Celestials.
How do you say it? Yeah, those characters look crazy and what they were doing. So how does that play into the movie? Like, who witnesses these characters? Is it a history lesson? I don't know. It's awesome. The shot of the Earth as well. You know the reference towards Thanos and the snap and Tony Stark. You know, like is the MCU just like can they not get away from Thanos and Iron Man, or is it actually just playing the story? Of course, it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe. These things did happen, and there has to be an after effect. And this seems to be an after effect from the snap. So that's interesting. So also, I didn't like the piece of dialogue from Angelina Jolie's characters. Like, as basically paraphrasing, I love the people of Earth. Do you really love them when you just stood by and let Thanos, do what he
Yeah.
did and stuff like that? But then again, they can't get involved until a certain type of creature gets involved with demons. That's when they can help Earth. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out in the movie. But yes, some awesome visuals, some great shots, and it didn't seem like a Marvel movie at all with those shots. Now maybe it's because of her and the way she wants to direct this movie, or maybe this is something unique to the Marvel universe. The comedy will be there as always.
I think
But
they're going to
yeah,
set
I
up a
thought it
lot
was
of stuff in this
breathtaking.
movie. That's why they have to have that.
Yeah, it was very breathtaking, and I'm all for it, and I can't wait for Eternals now. I really can't. I definitely need to see this in the big
Yeah,
screen.
me too, for sure. And obviously, her strong suit is storytelling, and Feige was just um, he was just praising this movie like it's the thing that you have to look forward to. Not even Spider-Man. It's this movie is the thing that you have to watch, right? So um, he'll definitely put this movie out for Oscars. He'll definitely do it. And if he's that impressed by this,
Yeah,
there's definitely a good story in there, which is really key to a good movie. So without that, I don't think this movie will work. But yeah, there's probably a really good story here.
yeah, I will. You would expect that from Lois after winning an Oscar, but then again, Nomadland had an interesting uh, undertone, but like so it was
Yeah,
boring at times as well. It's you're just following the one character, but it's a completely
yeah.
different movie. So I'm going to have trust in Chloe Zhao that she has a very interesting, maybe thought-provoking movie with some interesting characters, awesome action. So yeah, let's go. This just looks amazing. Some of these shots, and I'm all for it. I'm intrigued. I want to learn who these characters are, who these creatures are, and what exactly is going on with the Eternals. Awesome. Now, it seems to be we're getting a lot of these team up movies the last few years. Invincible, The Boys, Jupiter's Legacy, Eternals, Justice League, the same kind of
Are you going to address your tweet?
Similar characters, similar characters, like similar powers. Now, like I just no, what I was trying to say in my tweet was that it seems to be everybody's able to make like edgy superheroes that have the same powers as the Justice League, except for Zack Snyder. He's not allowed by Warner Brothers. Like this. Like imagine if the Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer came out in 2016 for Justice League, and that he got to make his movie. Like imagine how like mind blowing and internet blowing that would have been back then, and how
Yeah.
different it would have looked. Eternals like was trending all day. It was a big hit online because it looked so different. It looked amazing, and yeah, she looks like that shot there of the Earth reminds me of. Is there a similar shot in the nightmare sequence with Dark Side? I can't think which shot it is now, but there's like is there a planet in Zack Snyder's Justice League that looks like it's supposed to blow up or something like that, or flash
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
through
yeah.
time? And I don't know.
In
There's a similar
Cyborg's
shot. Yeah,
Cyborg's Nightmare.
it looks similar to like imagine that trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League came out in 2016,
Yep.
2017. Like how big that would have been
I
back then.
mean, even the
I'm just
Justice
saying,
League
like
trailers were
we
very
never
hyped
got
up.
to.
So
Yeah,
just imagine
yeah,
this
yeah,
trailer.
the word, yeah. Well, yeah, and those were compromised ones back then as
Yeah.
well. But like I'm just saying, like he never got to do his full thing. Chloe Zhao was getting to do her full thing here, and it just shows you how amazing things can look. I'm not knocking the Eternals or Invincible or Jupiter's Legacy. I like all those shows. I'm just saying it's annoying. It's frustrating as a fan that everyone else gets the thing to do it, but then he's criticized and Warner Brothers don't want him. Chloe Zhao, it looks like she's doing something really cool here.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't noticed, there's a Superman type character in this, called, named Icarus. And, he has
Mm.
laser eyes, heat vision, everything. Flight. So obviously he's going to be the fan favorite character after the movie comes out. That's just a guess. I'm just saying because, obviously people will compare him to Superman and he'll have the best powers in the movie. So yeah, most people will like it. Then after the movie comes out
Like,
and he's a hit and a fan favorite, what do you think Warner Brothers is going to do?
man, it's stupid because Invincible, you have
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man. Jupiter's Legacy, you had or what's his name? Euphoria Man.
Ah,
What's his name?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Forget.
His name was Utopia. Yeah,
Utopia.
Utopian.
Utopia. And then on The Boys, you have Homelander, and these are all really popular characters. And then you have Warner Brothers with Henry Cavill, who is a huge star and loved by the internet as Superman, and they won't use him. And you have and Marvel's getting ahead now. Amazon's getting ahead with The Boys. Netflix kind of we're trying to do it. It's ridiculous. Warner Brothers, what the fuck you doing?
What the fuck you're doing?
But that's why Kevin Feige's the best at this stuff. He knows
Yeah,
how to get audience's attention, and he'll make his version of Superman better than Warner Brothers.
yeah, for sure. And Hiding TK asks, did it seem to you guys that Icarus may have killed Ajax, or am I reading into it too much? Well, from that sentence, I don't even know who Ajax is, and I didn't even notice all of that, what you're saying. I just know who Icarus is, but I literally have no idea about these characters, so I'm the wrong person to ask. So, Mar, do you know about anything about that?
I'm completely oblivious to these
Me
characters
too.
and the world of the Eternals. I haven't even watched any real breakdowns of the Eternals trailer yet, but I'm going in as somebody who is an Eternals virgin. I don't know anything about these characters. I'm going in to be educated. Hopefully, Chloe Zhao can educate me on who these characters exactly are. And I wonder if a character within the Eternals is evil or will turn on them or is working for an evil. Maybe it's Ajax. I don't know
Oh,
who that is.
Ajax is
An evil.
Salma Hayek's character. So he's
Salma Hayek's
you're
character.
saying Icarus might kill
Look,
her? Wow.
he could be an evil Superman. He could be a Homelander. He could be he could be something like that. So that would be
Yeah.
interesting. See, I don't think all of these Eternal people are still good. I think they
Yeah.
used to be. I think maybe corrupt. Very much like Jupiter's Legacy, we got to see that as well with a few characters. Nobody stays good forever,
Yeah.
man.
And do you think we'll have a um massive scale villain for this, because they all of them are a team and they're too powerful, right? So do you think there's a very strong massive villain?
Maybe I don't know. Those Silentians are they villains? Will they be? Are they like
Yeah,
gods or
I
what
mean they're
exactly are
creating
they?
galaxies and universes.
Yes,
So
they seem pretty
yeah,
big. They seem bigger than a planet. So I don't know if they
bigger
can
than a
fight.
galaxy.
And
I don't think we can even
yeah,
see a
so
character interact with them because they're that big.
yeah, it's probably they could. Yeah, it could probably be a history lesson or a vision or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I don't know who the villain is for this movie. But I don't. I think one of the villains will be somebody within the Eternals. Maybe it is Icarius.
Yeah. Or maybe it's this character, the one who is with Angelina here in the cave.
Yeah, yeah, that's a weird CGI looking
Yeah.
character. That could be the villain. Steppenwolf 2.0 maybe. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely gonna watch this one.
Yeah. Me too. Becca says, I think WB is gonna do nothing. That's what they've been doing so far. And Hiding TK says, WB will come out with Space Jam 3. Hey,
But
that's
definitely,
definitely coming.
it's making really good money at the box office. 150 million, I think, so far. It's a sequel's
Yeah,
coming.
for sure. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's our thoughts on Eternals. We really liked the trailer and we are excited to watch the movie. And it comes out in November, on November 5th, which is not that far away. So that's good.
you know what? I think Dune is coming out October
Yes.
22nd,
Yeah,
something like that. They shouldn't release those
I
movies so
know,
close
right?
together. They look very
Yeah.
similar.
They both are massive scale
They look.
space movies.
If you watch the two trailers again, one after the other, they don't look identical. But man, a lot the space shots, the CGI kind of monsters, even the suits kind of look a little bit like sci-fi and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It looks very similar. I think it would be a
Yeah.
mistake for Warner Brothers Dune to release that so close to
Yeah. And
Eternals.
Eternals is
Uh,
not going to move now because they put out the final trailer. They have a date in full screen saying November 5th. They're not going to change it.
yeah,
That's not possible now.
no,
But Dune still can, I think. But even they just, put out the date. So I don't know. This could be another Shazam situation. Shazam came out just days before Endgame, and days
it came
after
out. It came
Captain
out.
Marvel.
Yeah, it was sandwiched between
Yeah,
Captain Marvel
terrible.
and Endgame. It's part of it is right, and it still made reasonable enough money at the box office. But like, could have.
It would have made way
Man,
more.
Warner Brothers they're just stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Warner
Just
Brothers movie now. They did something good for once, so let's celebrate that. Uh, well,
hasn't come out yet.
yeah, well, that's there, yeah, but yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago, the announcement. I don't know if it was meant to come out, but somebody actually put an exclusive out, Cineflix or something. They put out that Black Canary is in early development, and apparently some scoopers were hearing that already, but that outlet put out as an exclusive. So just moments later, Hollywood Reporter and all the big trades just put it out. So we'll read what the Hollywood Reporter put out. Misha Green is reuniting with her Lovecraft Country collaborator Journey Smollett for a DC movie project featuring heroine Black Canary. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed the project, which is in an early development, at HBO Max is a spin-off from Warner Brothers 2020 DC movie Birds of Prey, which sucks, which featured characters Harley Quinn, the Huntress, and Cassandra Cain. Green will write the script for the feature, with Smollett due to reprise her role. Sue Kroll, I think that's Sue Kroll, right? Sue Kroll, who produced Birds of Prey, will produce Black Canary. So this is pretty good, and I like this because this was something that a lot of fans were asking for right after Birds of Prey came out, and a lot of people wanted this movie to happen. There was the hashtag Birds of Prey HBO Max series or something, and then finally, and also the fact that I wanted another project by Misha Green and Journey working together because they're just so awesome. And Lovecraft Country was amazing. I just loved it. So I was really really disappointed when that got canceled, when that was not renewed for season 2. But yeah, that's one reason why I'm super happy about this project. Now, Black Canary is not one of my favorite characters, or I don't know that much about her. But she's a cool character, and Journey is pretty awesome. So I'm just happy that this project is getting made, just for the sake of having this team working on this and having another DC movie that a lot of fans were asking for. Warner Brothers finally listened and greenlit it, which is a miracle because that never happens.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
No.
really was happy with this announcement. What do you think?
Yeah, I was taking a nap earlier on, and Birds of Prey was on, and I was falling in and out of sleep. And you know what? Black Canary is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I know I was tired, and I like Birds of Prey. I do, um, and I do like the style of Birds of Prey a lot. I really do. But Journey Smollett was brilliant as Black Canary. Wasn't really showcased that much. Her scream only got to be used once, really, which was strange. You know, I don't know why that was, but yeah, a lot of stuff there. I don't know if it's going to be a prequel because at the end of Birds of Prey, we got to see the actual Birds of Prey be a
Hmm.
team. And even Becca said it there, Birds of Prey, but it was basically a Harley Quinn movie. It was, um, but yeah, there was people wanted this on Twitter, and this is a good sign. Now I don't know if it's just Walter Hamada being, you know, he's being proud. Oh, my DCU is the better DCU. Shazam, Birds of Prey, these movies. I'm gonna Shazam 2 is coming. An Aquaman 2, Birds of Prey. I greenlit that movie. I'm gonna do a spin off. Maybe it's him being just proud of what he's doing himself. If that's the case, why can't he greenlit a Deathstroke series or
That's
a Jared
next.
Leto Joker movie or show? I hope so. I hope so. I really do. But like, he's just they preach multiverse, but they just neglect Zack Snyder's universe. And look, this isn't. I'm a Zack Snyder fan, but this is coming from someone who watches and pays for all DC shows and movies. So but I'm looking forward to this. I'm really, really happy for Journey Smollett. I think this is amazing for her. She's brilliant in the role. It's a movie. I'm surprised it's a movie. I thought it might be a series, but they seem passionate about it. There's a passionate crew involved. Let's see what the supporting cast is. I wonder will it be set in Gotham City. A big kind of criticism I had for Birds of Prey was there wasn't enough of the Gotham City world building in terms of the like Gotham City Police Department. I think they should have had Commissioner Gordon there. Even Ben Affleck showing up because it's Gotham City, Batman, stuff like that, would have been really, really cool. But then the DC universe was in a different place back then. And maybe it would have been hard to tie down J.K. Simmons and Ben Affleck. A little bit different now. J.K. Simmons is coming back for the Batgirl movie, which is also on HBO Max. So I wouldn't be surprised if he signs on for Black
Yeah.
Canary. That would be awesome. That'd be cool. Even Ben Affleck signs on for Batgirl. I would not be surprised because relationships seem to be a little bit better
Yeah.
right now. So I think it's a good opportunity. You never know who could show up. You can get maybe three of the other characters from Birds of Prey. Sandra Kane maybe could show up. Who knows? Harley Quinn maybe could make an appearance. And that's really, really good if those characters could pop up for the world building, the continuation of Birds of Prey. So this is a long way away yet. As Misha Green said, they're in the writing process, getting things ready. Don't know who's going to direct it, who's going to co-star or anything like that. But HBO Max movie. And I see people criticizing that they're putting these projects like Blue Beetle, Batgirl, Black Canary on HBO Max. I think it's actually a good place to introduce these characters because you don't have to worry about box office. You don't have to worry about it doing well because look at the Suicide Squad. It's getting absolutely killed online because the box office is poor. Look at the Birds of Prey box office, the Shazam box office. These are things that people use against DC,
Yeah.
which is fair enough as well. These are movies that are supposed to make money, but these are used against them. These come out on streaming. You could say, "Oh, it one of our biggest movies," stuff like that. You could lie about it if you wanted to, but it's better for the brand as a whole. You can kind of control the narrative a little bit more. Black Canary was a really big hit in HBO Max, so I think this is really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it's bad for these characters that they appear on HBO Max first. I think the way forward is streaming. I think if the quality is good, then I don't care where I watch it.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely excited for this project more because of the people involved than, the story or the character itself. But Misha Green just put out this tweet saying, "We're just at the very beginning of a long journey to the screen. Of course, because it's just in early development, they just got the green light. They still have to write the script, finalize it, and then go into production and all that." So yeah, but obviously, I couldn't turn down the chance to put the dam in the Black Dam Canary with Journey Smollett. This is pretty good. But again, the next line is, so I'm thinking something like, and then she puts out a bunch of emojis. So first one is obviously a canary. Then you have singing, singing. The fourth one is, it's interesting because I think it has something to do with martial arts or something, but I don't know what character that is. But then you have a tiger, so that could be bronze tiger. And then you have a Chinese dragon. I don't know what that one is. Some people are thinking it could be Lady Shiva or something. Um, that would be interesting. And then, wasn't Lady Shiva in the Enter the Dragon Batman movie that you saw?
Yes, just finish your thought, and then I'll tell you about the
All right.
characters.
Then after that, there's two people dancing. I don't know what that is. And then you have obviously the green heart. So there's only one character that this green heart represents. It's obviously Black Canary's lover and Green Arrow. So definitely Green Arrow. I think that's definitely Green Arrow. So I would. This is one thing that I wanted from this project to at least for years even I just wanted one of these projects to set up Green Arrow and so that he can be in this DCEU. And looks like finally we're gonna get it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that Soul of the Dragon was actually a really, really big hit, and critically and by fans really, really
Oh,
loved.
it was Soul of the
I
Dragon.
think yes, so Batman Soul of the Dragon, 92% Rotten Tomatoes from critics
Nice.
for Soul of the Dragon, 71% for audience. That's a really fun, upbeat movie, great tone to it, stuff like that. The dragon is interesting because in that movie, one of the main characters was Richard Dragon. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring this character into it. You also have Bronze Tiger, Lady Shiva, really diverse group of characters. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're introduced in the Black Canary movie. That would be awesome to see. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would really like that for them to characters to pop up. I think you keep the same cast. Kelly Wu played Lady Shiva. She could do it live action. Michael J. White was Bronze Tiger. He could do it.
Nice.
So why not? And Mark Dacascos, he was in John McTree. What other movies he popping up in soon? Forget. But he played Richard Dragon. All perfect. All can do it live
Yeah.
action as well. So I think those characters are going to pop up in the movie.
Nice. It would be awesome because it's not just Black Canary, for the entire movie, but it's different characters, setting up, and it could be its own trilogy someday. So you obviously have to, knowing Misha Green, I just trust her writing. She knows what she's doing. She's awesome. She can definitely write, fictional characters and all that pretty well. and set up different characters. She knows how to do that. So yeah, I'm not doubting this project at all. I just hope they get a good director because that can make or break this project, even if the writing is great. So I just hope I just hope the director is great. And Hiding TK asks, I wonder which universe will this be in if it happens. If it happens, well, I think it will happen. It seems pretty official. A lot of Misha and Journey are also tweeting about it so much. Gail Simone tweeted about it. DC fandom is coming up, so I do think that it's gonna happen. But yeah, I just think that's gonna be in the DCEU. I think the DCEU going forward will become what it was supposed to be from the start. Ben Affleck being inside the DCU and all that stuff. I just think that Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 will be outside of the DCU. But who knows with the merger and all that. But as of right now, I think just those two movies are going to be outside of the DCU, and everything else will be inside the DCU, which means, characters will be referencing other movies and all that stuff, because so far from what I've heard about the upcoming movies, the same characters are coming back for the movies, like the Batgirl project. Um, J.K. Simmons is coming back, so maybe Ben Affleck will come back for that, for a cameo or something, just like Suicide Squad. Um, so yeah, even the Suicide Squad had the same characters from Air's Suicide Squad. So now they don't seem to be neglecting or dismissing what the movies that came before, but they're just embracing and moving forward, which is what should have done since 2017. But at least now they got that thing going on for them. So yeah, I think it's just going to be in the DCU.
Look, the DCU technically started in 1989,
Yeah.
and the Crisis of Infinite Earths on CW is canon to Ezra Miller's Flash and all that kind of stuff. So basically, the DCU is everything. It's all of the DC content. So I'm not going to sit here now and try and figure out what is the DCU, because who knows? I don't even, Warner Brothers at times don't even know. So it's all connected to me.
Yeah.
It's all some way connected. And you have Brandon Routh came back as Superman for the CW version. Tom Welling came into the world as well. Ezra Miller, Grant Gustin, they crossed over. Michael Keaton's coming back. Ashley Calla, where's she from? Michael Keaton's coming. Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. I don't know. I'm just going to enjoy these as they come. Not worry about the thematics of what universe is it in.
Yeah.
Like is it like Josh Whedon's universe of Justice League is
I don't think
different
that's
from
gonna come
Zack
back.
Snyder's universe. No, I'm just saying they're
Yeah.
different universes in their own right. So like it's just who knows.
Yeah, like a lot of people assume that the DCU right now is either the Justice League universe or the Zack Snyder's Justice League universe. I don't think that's the case. I just think that the filmmakers will definitely acknowledge Zack Snyder's Justice League going forward. Um, Warner Brothers doesn't have to say that's canon, non-canon, in the universe or outside. They don't have to say all that. It doesn't matter. The filmmakers will still make what they want, hopefully, and they will take loose connections from Justice League if they have to, which they don't need to, but if they have to, they might reference that. I think the Flash will definitely reference Zack Snyder's Justice League, 100%. And Black Adam, I don't know, but I do think that the DCEU is one universe now. Even with the multiverse, I think it's just one universe where the same actors are going to be inside the DCEU for now. Just Justice League 2 and 3 are not gonna happen as of right now. So don't think of it as, oh, Birds of Prey was that universe or this universe. I think all of them are just in the DCU right now, as of right now. Except, Justice League, that's they'll just ignore that movie. I'm 100% sure no one is referencing that.
Yeah, but you just take the story beats from Justice League that's similar
Yeah.
to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Takes a Steppenwolf, James Hart. You can just
Yeah.
reference Steppenwolf. You don't have to say, oh, Steppenwolf from Zack Snyder's world or 2017 version. You just say Steppenwolf, you get a fair idea. Steppenwolf came to Earth.
Yeah.
There you go. Stuff like that. But the DCU is just, they reference what they need to reference in the movie or story that they're telling. So in Birds of Prey, they reference Captain Boomerang. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, they reference the New Gods and stuff like that. So they just, whatever the story is telling, it's just what it's doing in that time, in that period.
Yeah.
So Black Canary could come out and not even reference the Birds of Prey movie,
Yeah.
at all. It could. It could reference Commissioner Gordon. It can reference Ben Affleck's Batman. It could not. It doesn't mean anything entirely. So I'll try and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we have finally concluded today's show. All of the topics are done. And you can follow us at The Real Talk Live on all social media. The links are down below there. And you can follow me at Krypton Caged. And where can they find you, Maher?
Yeah, Movies That Matter on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Search it and you'll find me.
Awesome. So this week I'll have to watch another episode of 9 Perfect Strangers, and I might check out Sweet Girl. I don't know. I just want to be disappointed. And
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely be back
should-
with another What If episode as well, and maybe we'll cover 9 Perfect Strangers if Mar watches it by then.
Yeah, I think we should cover a few random movies every week as well that come out on the radar on Netflix and shows or stuff like that. So I got to see Snake Eyes. Probably review that maybe next week. Just too many topics to talk about tonight. And hopefully I might be able to get to see The Green Knight this week as well.
Ah, dude,
Talk about that
that movie.
So yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and see how that goes. And that's it. And maybe if the No Way Home trailer comes out officially, maybe we can do a full stream midweek about that, break it down.
For sure.
It's gonna be you've seen it. Is the trailer long?
It leaked, and I saw.
I'll have to wait for it to officially come out and check it out. And then maybe we can do a special stream with some guests and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining the stream. We really loved interacting with you guys and hearing your opinions. Thank you for staying until the end as well. And until next week, please take care and goodbye.